Okay, everybody. Dan here, and this is my Fits in Five video for the day. And Jim Cramer, excuse me, Jim Cramer asked me over the weekend for some ideas for his show, and that's today, not the typical Tuesday thing. And I mentioned that I thought the semiconductors were in a really good spot. And I want to look at SMCI in a sec. That's kind of what I had planned to do. However, let's just go over what my reasoning is and my ration. Here's the upshot here. I think that the semis are going higher, probably going much higher this year. However, now isn't the best time to be buying them. Like you can see, this is a sector ETF. So it's going to have a pattern typically that's a little different than the individual stocks because this is the aggregate of all the stocks. Some are going to be doing good, some of them aren't so good. But so generally, when we look at the SMH, what we want to see is a trend. Is there a trend? And here you can see again on the weekly chart, the 10-day, or excuse me, the 10-week, which is the 50-day, and the 40-week, which is the 200-day moving averages are trending higher. The SMH is tracking along the upper Bollinger Band. It's all good in the hood. This is perfect. This is just what we want to see. But we're not generally going to trade the SMH. However, I would say to you longer term investors, like for 401ks, things like that, sector trading is actually a good way to make sure that you're in the right place at the right time. And you're not really having to trade around all these positions. You're essentially trading the money flow, the trend of money coming into or going out of course, but coming into a particular sector. So this looks really good, right? So then we look at Nvidia. Nvidia on the daily chart looks really great. I'd been trading this for a while. I made a lot of money, is really fortunate over the last month or so just in buying calls, and I own some stock. I actually unloaded a bit of it today when it didn't push 600, but I got close to 600 on it. So I'm happy about that. I think the stock goes higher after this squeeze. However, it is struggling with 600. So that's something that we need to watch. My bet is that over the course of the year, I think that we should be able to get a 900 handle on that. That's my bet. But we're going to get pullbacks, kind of stops and starts along the way. So my suggestion on this is, even if you're a real short-term trader, wait for the stock to hit the 8-day moving average before buying. It doesn't happen that often. And so you have to be kind of patient. But what you don't want to be doing is just buying the high because it does oscillate a bit. Okay, so that would be my thing on Nvidia. Now, SMCI, I ran a I did some math here, calculating, like, this is a 5.5 month base, right? So I did some simple math here, taking the last high here in August and then going down to the low here in October, taking the difference, and I think it was about 130, something like that. And then I add that 130 to the high here because the stock has broken out. And that takes me to about 487, 485, really, something like that. And so that's what's called a measured move. And so we take the breakout from a prolonged cup like this, and then we extend upward that amount, $130, and say, okay, this is probably where the stock should go before it would hit some kind of a resistance point. So it did that today. It almost got up to our complete move before kind of turning around a bit. So it's still up on the day, all over 4%. So the stock's still working, higher high, higher low, and we don't know what the future holds here over the next hour and 45 minutes. I'm doing this at 11:13 Pacific time. So we've still got a ways to go on the stock. But what is noteworthy to me is the stock hit the high right at the open and then traded off. So you can see how it's still kind of catching bids and running up. It wouldn't surprise me if the stock closed above the opening print here today, because it is still absolutely under accumulation. So you got to look at this and say, wow, this is coming. These are all the different lines I've drawn on it in explaining this in the this morning to members in our we'll just get rid of that members in our weekly training session. So you can see here, this is in a really tight squeeze, and there's really not much doubt in my mind that the stock's going to continue higher. I would absolutely want to be buying this stock. I would just be cautious about buying it right now, because you really do make money on the entry of a position. Are you getting off on the right foot, or did you get in too high and now you got to sit through a pullback for a while, which is kind of a drag? So I say buy this stock, but just be a little patient before you do so. You might miss out on a little more upside, but you're just kind of a little bit late in getting into this as an initial position. Okay. So that's all I got for you. Look, if you have not been a member of Stock Market Mentor, I ask you to consider it. It's a very, very, I think it's like $7 for a trial. So if you can't afford $7, then you can't afford $7, I guess. But you definitely check it out. And also, we are right in the middle of a fast track delivery for new members too, where I think about 28 videos over the course of the next month and a half or so that really walks you through a lot of elements of trading. Other websites that charge you a lot of money for that, I'm just giving it to you for free because I want you to be trading better. So anyway, that's all I got for you. I'll see you all next time.